I'm one of two women on my team, and there are about 11 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly the minority across all departments, I think, in tech.
Sure.
But specifically in sales, I would say it's normal to be the minority there. But yeah, I think mentorship is huge. I think it's mission critical. I think representation is even bigger. I mean, being able to see, as a woman, your career aspirations realized by somebody else is so big. I mean, I know it's kind of like a buzzword and everyone says representation matters. And I don't think until you really see it, you really see somebody who looks like you, comes from a similar background, in a position that you inspire to be in, you don't quite understand how important it is. And so, yeah, I would say mentorship is huge. I think for me specifically, it's always been, top of mind to find somebody that I can learn from, who I can look up to. I feel like I'm constantly, my eyes are peeled for
Mm-hmm.
the woman who's got it, who's got her career, who's got her family life, who's got a lot of the skills that I aspire to have, and just learn from them, and that just, and I realize that can be intimidating too. So I do just want to say that as a woman and, having mentored a couple amazing women,
Sure.
the ask is it is such an honor.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, I can't even explain how good it feels to be asked by somebody, hey, can we have like a regular scheduled lunch once a month, 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor. Most women are more than willing to step in, and all it really takes is just building up the confidence to ask. And so I do it all the time. I've got a couple mentors that I, glean from and lean on in tough times and times when I just need a little bit of guidance, who have similar career paths. Some don't have similar career paths, but I do think that shaping is so important.
Absolutely. Is there something that needs to change at the top, to encourage more women or young women to join the technology, sector? I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
male
Male
dominated,
sure.
right? So what do you do, right? So
yeah, I would say more women in the C-suite. That needs to change.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of women having retired and stepped down, from some Fortune 500 companies. Was it Susan Wojcicki from YouTube most recently? I might be pronouncing that wrong.
It's all right.
Sheryl Sandberg, Meg Whitman. We had some really amazing women who were leading some of the top tech companies, and were, replaced by men most recently. And that's okay, right? But I think that back to the representation thing, it's, I wouldn't say it's like starting from square one, but it would have been nice to see, maybe a little bit of a replacement, or just seeing, again, more women in those positions of power.
Yeah. What about Middle Eastern women?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question. I wonder how many women of Middle Eastern background are in tech. It's something I'll look into. But but there are so many amazing Middle Eastern women to look up to that aren't just in the tech sector.
Right.
And
Absolutely. And so what would be kind of like your guidance, right? What would be your advice, to young women, they're in college, right now, that maybe are undecided, or even, graduated, with another, degree, that have an interest in tech, but they don't know anyone, in the technology sector, right? So
Yeah.
I mentor a lot of first gen, kids at at Loyola, right? And they don't have an uncle or an aunt, necessarily that work in corporate America. So when I'm able to talk to them about kind of like the opportunities, I can see their eyes, light up, and they're just
Yeah.
little sponges, and like, yes,
Yes.
absorb
Sponge is a
all of
good word. Yeah. Yes.
all of it. So
Absolutely.
what is your advice to them?
I'm going to piggyback off the sponge thing and say, well, one, find a mentor,
Hmm.
find someone who's done what you're trying to do and talk to them and ask them for advice, for help, for questions, or just kick it with them, just being around that kind of energy for me is huge. When I'm around a winner, I'm like shoulders wide, back straight. It just does something to me. And I imagine it would do the same for most people. But
Hmm.
find a winner to be around. Um, ask them, right? Talk to them, ask them for advice, and then be that sponge, right? Be coachable. I think
Right.
is like a big one. Is just asking for feedback, having thick skin,
Mm.
um,
Let's
being
talk about that.
yeah.